Something I see a lot of shows and movies getting so wrong are their villains. So often they feel like an afterthought, just tacked on, a plot device to keep the story going, but not really part of the story, you know? Just a bland obstacle for the heroes to overcome. That is why it's so impressive that DreamWorks has managed to have such a good track record of solid antagonists that really add to the story instead of just being there. I like almost all their movies. Almost.
I just don't like it.
You do like me.
I don't.
So let's have a look. Let's jump way back to 2008 when we first met an adorable big fat panda with even bigger dreams.
I'm not a big fat panda. I'm the big fat panda.
The thing that DreamWorks has been getting mostly right over the years is having a straightforward theme of common human experience without being too heavy-handed. When they're at their best is when the villain for the movie accents that theme in their antagonistic way. Usually they show us, the audience, and the main character the negative side of not following the theme. In the case of Kung Fu Panda, that theme is accepting who you are and being content with your own inner validation. Most of Po's first journey takes place apart from the villain. He is the fat kid who fantasizes about being a great kung fu warrior, like the highly esteemed students at the martial arts school at the top of the mountain. Trouble is, he's out of shape and clearly the adopted son of a duck who's trying to balance being a single dad and a cafe owner serving his famous secret ingredient soup. Foreshadowing! Through a funny series of happenstances, he becomes the prophesied chosen one, except everybody, including himself, knows that's impossible because he's an unskilled, out-of-shape fanboy.
Look at you, this fat butt, flabby arms,
Those are sensitive in the flabby parts.
and this ridiculous belly.
Hey!
His journey is all about self-acceptance, breaking the mold, getting rid of the need for external validation. Come here. I need you to externally validate that like button. Got him! We got him! By contrast, the villain, Tai Long, has spent years in prison after attacking the school when he was told that he would not be the chosen one, the Dragon Warrior. He spent his entire life pursuing that goal and the praise of his master, and he is suddenly dealing with the loss of this external identity, the title that he hoped to achieve. It drives him crazy, and he attacks, trying to take the mythical Dragon Scroll and read its secrets to become the fabled warrior by force. After he is defeated, he is imprisoned and spends his time contemplating revenge. By the end of the movie, we see that Po has accepted his path to Kung Fu is going to be different from other, more physically fit students. But time has run out because Tai Long is approaching to claim the scroll, which Po has already read, but there is some confusion because it's just blank, just shiny gold. In the final showdown, Po comes to face Tai Long, having learned that a real hero doesn't run away when people are depending on him. He is given the epiphany that the scroll is shiny because true power lies within.
The power is yours!
His father tells him the secret ingredient of the soup, there isn't one. People believe it's special, so it is. In the end, Po tries to tell Tai Long this in an effort to defuse the situation, but Tai Long cannot accept that there isn't some external prize to validate his life, and he is defeated when he forces a fight. Here we see Tai Long is an excellent villain, not just because he's strong and beating him makes Po look strong. That is something amateur writers do. They take pains to show you how powerful their villain is, so that the hero looks even more powerful when they defeat them. But in the case of Kung Fu Panda, Tai Long reinforces the theme that inner validation is better than external. He spent his entire life trying to earn this shiny scroll and more power and praise. And when he can't have that one thing, he loses his mind, disregarding all the other achievements in his life.
How can I be productive if I have this one little thing in my brain that I cannot get out? And that one little thing is
The scroll.
He also shows the secondary theme of the movie, selflessness is better than selfishness. The reason Po is worthy of the scroll is because he cares about other people. By the time he earns it, he has put away his self-doubt, which is an inherently selfish emotion, and moves on to caring about protecting the people of the valley. Tai Long was unworthy because his ambition was selfish. All he cared about was getting more power to fill a void inside himself. This movie is a classic for multiple reasons, but poor Tai Lung doesn't get enough credit for rounding out the theme. Kung Fu Panda 2 managed to pull off the same theme and be a great sequel. Po faces off against the peacock Shen, who orchestrated the murder of all the pandas, leaving him an orphan. We see a similar plot here, with Po trying to find inner peace and come to terms with the loss of his people and searching for his own identity as an adopted child. He also has to deal with his desire for revenge against Shen. Is the president of DreamWorks an adopted kid or something? All their movies are about found family. Like, I'm 100% here for it. I'm just now realizing that it runs through all their movies. Anyway, just like the first movie, Shen has an unquenchable thirst for power, and he is crushed when his parents, shockingly, are horrified that he murdered all the pandas. He's exiled for his crimes and comes back at the beginning of the movie to get revenge against everybody, really, and then take over all of China.
Will the subjugation of the whole world finally make you feel better?
It's a start.
Again, Shen craves this external validation, and he will never be satisfied. His soothsayer even gives him a line about it.
The cup you choose to fill has no bottom.
He drove his parents away, destroys his own home, and none of it matters because his pursuit for power is all-consuming. Po sees that hurt people, and he comes to grips with that reality that he will never know his parents, but that's okay, because he has a dad, he's found a family in his kung fu friends. Again, the central tenet of this movie, inner peace, inner validation, and Shen provides us the extreme negative example of what happens when you never have those things. I'll give you a negative example of tea. I bought a variety pack of Tazo tea from my very own Amazon influencer store, NBD. I just don't like mint tea. I tried. Hopefully the next one's better. I do like this mug though. I was at Anthropology over the weekend, and this has got strawberries and butterflies. Love this thing. The same theme and villain opposite continue in the third movie, rounding out an excellent trilogy for the lovable panda protagonist. If this were a different animation company led by Mouse, I would be terrified at the upcoming fourth film, but their track record has given me confidence they're gonna be just fine. Daya, do you have any message for DreamWorks about the next panda movie? Don't let me down. Agreed. Fingers crossed. That's not the only fabulous trilogy DreamWorks was capable of, though. They pulled off another series with a strong theme and antagonist to accent it in How to Train Your Dragon. This series follows main character Hiccup, who is the pacifist ugly duckling amongst a tribe of vicious Viking swans who are constantly battling invading dragons. Throughout the trilogy, we see this constant theme that cooperation is superior to control. In the first movie, the antagonist is Hiccup's father, Stoic, the clan chief. He is on a mission to find the dragon homeland and subdue them by force. We discover the dragons are already being controlled by an alpha. No, not the fresh and fit guys, a real alpha. They're only raiding the Viking world to bring food back to their dragon master. In the end, we see them break free of that control when Hiccup and his dragon that he's befriended cooperate together to kill the alpha. It really just takes the power of friendship and
a bit of the old ultra-violence.
This theme takes a more literal turn in the second and third movies, with the world expanding to show that dragons are everywhere, and also dragon hunters who seek to control them through force. In both sequels, we're shown how control by force or coercion is ultimately inferior to cooperation because it isn't stable. In the second movie, the villain is driven by hate and fear that he can't control everything. In the end, when his balance of power is upset, the house of cards falls quickly. A similar end awaits the villain of the third movie, showing that control doesn't make friends. When the hero and villain are in mortal danger, we see that our hero has a support system to rescue him, and the villain has no one but himself. That last movie also finalizes the theme of giving up control when Hiccup finally realizes he has to let the dragons go on their own. Go back to your kind! When DreamWorks isn't making villains an excellent counter to the hero and theme, they at least do great subversion with movies like Megamind, Bad Guys, and Abominable. But their most recent entry has the best villains yet, and obviously I'm talking about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This movie features not one, not two, but three excellent villains, all working to drive home the theme of this movie in various ways. The movie opens up with Puss reveling in his fame, lapping up the applause as everyone's favorite fearless hero Then he dies. We find that he is now on the last of his 9 lives, and he starts to reflect on the meaning of his life and how empty it is, really, when he isn't being praised by the crowd. Here we meet our first villain, Death himself, in the form of a wolf that Puss thinks is a bounty hunter. He is very nearly killed, and we see his pure panic as he realizes all of his bravado is for nothing in the face of this superior enemy. He is about to die, alone, in a bar. He escapes through a toilet. His self-image is shattered, and he falls into a depression as a house cat to a crazy cat lady. That's when we meet our second antagonist, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, who are a crime family. They want to hire Puss to steal a magical map from our final villain, Jack Horner. Now, this is all still early in the movie, so his brush with death and loss of self-image hasn't caused Puss to grasp the real meaning of the tale yet. That's good for us, because then the movie would be short, and that would be a loss because the movie is outstanding. Yeah, this is some of the most efficient and entertaining writing you've seen in some time. The entire movie is about gratitude for what you already have, and each character displays a different facet of this idea. Oh my God, it's even worse cold. Oh God. Puss, being the protagonist, gets the growth arc to see that he left behind the things that really matter in life, like an actual partner in the form of Kitty Softpaws. By the end of the movie, we see him realize this, and he vows to fight for what's really important. This realization is driven by the character Death, who is angry at him for his callous attitude toward his lives. Through the film, we get a look at the life that he could have had with Kitty, and we also see into his soul to see how empty his life really is. Death finally puts meaning into his life as he realizes there really is a finite limit to his time. Much like our real lives, the remembrance that we must eventually die adds weight and perspective to our actions. You thought this was children's animation? Memento mori, kids. It's almost too late for Puss, but finally, impending death strips away his ego and gives him clarity. You know what all happened after he lost that fight and bled? He had post-cut clarity. After he has the breakthrough, the wolf says, "I came here to kill this arrogant, self-entitled person, and he's not standing here anymore," so he leaves. His second antagonist is Goldilocks, who goes through a similar arc as Puss himself, just from the villain side. She and the bears are racing to the finish line right alongside the heroes, and they provide some really great scenes to drive home the theme of gratitude. She has this excellent scene with the lovable dog, Perito, that gives her the key moment for her character change. In the end, she has the anti-villain arc that shows us the good aspects of being grateful for what you already have and ignoring the grass on the other side that you assume to be greener. Her redemption works because we never saw her be extremely evil in the first place, unlike our final villain, Jack Horner. Jack is great as the over-the-top villain that animated movies used to have. No attempt was made to humanize him or give him a last-second redemption.
You're not gonna shoot a puppy, are you, Jack?
Yeah, in the face. Why?
He is plumb crazy, and they leaned right into it. John Mulaney did an excellent job, giving him a larger-than-life persona. Horner is fantastic as the negative example of the theme in a hilarious way. He has a giant pie empire, he's a collector of magical items, his parents loved him, and yet none of it matters because he doesn't have magic.
You know, I never had much as a kid. Just loving parents, and stability in a mansion, and a thriving baked goods enterprise for me to inherit. Useless crap like that.
His ultimate goal is to have it all for himself. While everybody else is on a journey of self-discovery, Horner knows exactly who he is. An evil, greedy person who is singularly focused on taking everything for himself. I love the irredeemed villain. Honestly, it feels unique in an age where every antagonist is just misunderstood and nobody ever dies. In the end, his greed ends up killing him, and even as he dies, he knows he deserved it, really.
What did I do to deserve this? I mean, what specifically?
What's impressive is that the point of his character is obvious without anyone having to say it. Every character in this movie exists on this gradient of gratitude, and it works beautifully. A lot of studios could learn writing techniques from DreamWorks, especially when it comes to villains. But what's your example of an excellent villain? I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.